Hey y'all. Shit, of course I dropped something. How's everybody doing? What's today? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, guys. So all right. Tonight we're talking about what are we talking about? Something that I'm sure that a lot of us have been through because this is one of the topics that people go through all the time, but don't always sit down and really break it down. Friendships falling apart over disagreements, miscommunication, and lack of what? Accountability. Hey, Alan, bro, what's going on? Hey, Shelly. Welcome. Yeah, so this is just a general thing. I know a lot of us have went through, going through, been through, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of friendships, because a lot of friendships don't end because of one like big situation. They usually end because of a built up small things that were never addressed properly, or maybe you felt a certain way about something, and just little by little it just added up, or maybe you felt a certain way about something and you didn't know how to talk about it, which that's the number one mistake when it comes to friendships. You should be able and you should be able to open up and talk, not feel like you're walking on eggshells. You shouldn't feel like, what if I say this, I might be judged, because in a real friendship, your friend is not going to judge you. They're going to hear you out, they're going to listen, and try to probably give you some good advice, or some advice. I'm not going to say good advice, but some advice, and then it's up to you to take it, whether you take it or not, that's up to you after that. But in a friendship, nobody should have to feel like you have to hold something back, you know, um, feel like you're walking on eggshells. Hey, eclectic butterfly, what's going on? I could just call you Karen, right? Hey, Shayla. Hey, Al, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome in, guys. So, yeah, today's topic is about friendships and disagreements. Have you ever been friends with somebody and, fell out over a disagreement or maybe a miscommunication? Did you or that person take accountability? Are you one of those people that think you're always right? Because that could be a big issue in friendships as well, in any relationship, actually, you know? But a lot of friendships end because of the built up small things that were never addressed properly. And one of the biggest things is when people don't know how to handle being challenged. Because let's be real, everybody says they want honest friends. Everybody says, I want people around me, I want real people around me. I don't want, fake people around me. Um, but the moment someone is actually honest, what happens? Now it's a problem. Now all of a sudden you're doing too much, or you're judging me, or you switched up, or it's just like that. Why is it always like that? You say you want, honest friends. You don't want to be around fake people. You left those fake people in the past or wherever, they're better off. But yet, the minute your friend or friends start to be honest with you, you all of a sudden, and this is some people, all of a sudden, you know, you don't know how to communicate. All of a sudden, you don't know how to conversate. All of a sudden, you start lashing out. You don't want to actually listen to what the person's saying because right away you feel like you're being attacked. But didn't you want honest friends? Hey, Miguel. All right, Karen, I'll definitely do that. If you can never admit where you are wrong, in my eyes, you are a narcissist. I'm telling you, narcissists have a lot of some people are actually not full like narcissists. They just have narcissistic tendencies. But I get what you mean. And I think that, a lot of people that want honesty, do they really want honesty, or do they just want the honesty when it benefits them? I think there's a lot of friendships start to shift, not because someone did something horrible, but because one person wasn't open to hearing anything, outside of what they believe. And in a friendship, do you actually want everybody to think the same? Wouldn't that be boring? You know, don't you want like in different friendships, don't you want to be different? Um, and I think for myself that in friendships, especially when it's one or more, it's good when you have different personalities because you not only learn something different from them, but you also learn how to be sociable and learn how to just talk to somebody that doesn't think like you. Maybe you'll get different ideas. Maybe you'll learn something. And I'm one of those people that I actually like to learn. I don't mind learning something new, you know, and I don't mind learning something new every day if I need to. But just imagine being around the person that thinks like you, that acts like you, that dress like you. Like, that's going to be boring. Let's be real, you know? Hey, Brecken. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you. Please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe if you haven't hit subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. So that's where a lot of, friendship starts to shift. Not because someone did something horrible, like I said, but it's because someone wasn't open to hearing what the other person had to say, with an open heart, without thinking that they're being judged or attacked. It's not always about being attacked, you know? That's not how you should think of it. You should be able to take constructive criticism when needed, because that's what life is about. You're not just going to go in the world and everybody's going to be, saying all the nice things to you, whether it's at home, because it does start from home, whether it's home, whether it's work, whether it's school. You have to be open for that constructive criticism, because let's be real, not everybody's damn perfect. Trying to keep it clean. I'm trying to keep it clean. So, and I've seen friendships end over things that could have been talked out in one conversation, especially during these last like 6 months or so. One conversation, but instead it turns distance, it turns into silence, it turns into what's the word I'm looking for? Animosity, tension, separation, and all of it could have just, you could have stood friends. You could have just, with one conversation, but that pride, that pride gets in the way sometimes. You feel like, oh, it's a two-way street. If that person wanted to talk to me, they will call. Or, I just needed a break. They didn't give me enough time. Hey, free thinking. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yeah. So it's crazy that, something, sometimes friendships end because people just don't know how to talk. Because they might feel like they don't know what to say, or maybe because they already know how the other person is going to take it. They feel like, why waste their breath or why waste their energy, if the other person has shown, that they don't know how to communicate when it comes to, a disagreement, you know? But if you're a real friend, shouldn't you be able to agree to disagree? We're not puppets here that, you know, you're going to make me think like you, or, act like you, or have the same beliefs as you. So, have you guys ever lost a friendship over something that really, could have been fixed if both people just talked? Or was it something that just kept building over time? Let me know. Does anything resonate with you guys? Have you guys ever had a friendship lost because you just weren't able to communicate? Or maybe you tried to communicate with the other person, but they took it, the wrong way, and either lashed out at you, or just, walked away from the friendship, hung up on you, maybe, you know? Oh, thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, I always have different topics. So today's topic is just about friendship, because, we've so some of us been going through some stuff with some of our friends. So I just felt like I needed to talk about friendships and disagreements, and see if, the people in my community have ever dealt with anything like that. Hey, Miss Dee Dee, sis, what's going on? Shayla says, "Hey, sweet dreams. Welcome in, welcome in. Sorry if I missed anybody." All right. So if Shayla says, if a friendship ends over something that could have been worked out, then one of you been wanted out the friendship, just used whatever situation to have an excuse to leave. You know what? And I do believe that's right. Actually believe that's true in some friendships, that the person was thinking about, or was finding something wrong with you all along, and was just waiting for an out to end the friendship. Especially if, you're that friend that you do try to reach out to see how the other one's feeling. If the other one, starts getting quiet, and you reach out and they're kind of like standoffish to you, and they probably were waiting for a reason to, end the friendship, or to distance, or at least to distance themselves. My birthday is on April 8th, free thinking, in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks. Tomorrow, exactly 3 weeks from tomorrow. Yes. Or maybe they don't have civilized communication skills. Ain't that for facts, Alan? Some people, they think it's because they're strong minded and things like that, but some people just don't want to, you know, be open to having a difference of opinion. Or, like I said, even if they, feel strongly about something, why not just agree to disagree and move on? No, there's people out there that they will keep, coming back just to prove their point. Like, what does proving your point all the time get you? Like, you ever, been around people like that they feel the need to have to prove their point all the time, in any conversation, in any discussion, in any, argument, that they just want to prove themselves right all the time. And then I'd be like, but nobody is right all the damn time. So why do you have to try to prove your point all the damn time? Yes, I've been around people like that. Hey, Vaughn, what's going on, Vaughn? Yeah, she's correct. They've always felt that way towards you, or there was always a motive. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. That's what a lot of people say and feel when, especially when it's so easy to end the friendship too. When it's so easy. But the worst part is when the friendship ends and then all of a sudden, that person just starts talking, starts just letting everything out, like, anything personal conversations between you, anything personal you told them, you know and then they start telling other people, like, they did have those bad intentions all that time. And it's funny because most of the people that do this are people that say they don't trust people. So, to me, it's because they can't be trusted is why they don't trust people. They don't let people in that easily. Why? Because they probably know the way they are, behind the scenes, or whatever. So they don't trust people because they know that people could be like them. I lost friends when they start dating someone and completely forgot about the friendship. And when they have a break, they all of a sudden remember. Oh my God, yes. That especially happens when you're younger, right? I've definitely dealt with that. They did, right? They start dating someone, and all of a sudden it's like they don't have no friends. And people like that, they mess up because they don't realize, you get attached to that person all the time, and then, you know you're never gonna have a life because they're gonna get so used to, you know you being with them, that when you do want to hang out, it's gonna be a problem. All of a sudden that friend is a 304. You know what I'm saying? A 304. All of a sudden they're gonna find something about that friend that you want to hang out with. That's how it always is. So if you go in I always tell the young people, when you go in a relationship, make sure you still have a life, because you're gonna want that, you know, separate life, yeah, friend life. Like, of course, you're gonna want to hang out with your friends separately, but also together with your significant other. But never just give your all to just one person. You have to keep your friends. Trust me, your friends and your family, because you're gonna want to break sometimes, and that's okay. Don't ever let anybody in a relationship make you think that it's not okay to have friends. That's crazy to me. Thank God I've never been like that, because that'll be a problem. Oh, okay, Brandon, that's what's up. That's what's up. You gotta let it out, Brandon. You have to let it out, Brandon. It's all good. Gotta let it out. At least you know you're healthy. You're healthy. You gotta let it out. I know some people that they don't crap easily. So good for you. Let's cheer on Brandon. I've lost friends, not close friends, but still friends due to politics. Oh, definitely. I definitely that the politics, boy. That's a crazy one because I've seen people lose, like, stop being friends with people over politics too. Like one of my close friends. Ooh, let her hear you say that you support a certain person. She's gonna block you. She's gonna comment under whatever post you posted. Then she's gonna go back and forth with you a little bit, but then she's gonna block your ass. And you ain't never gonna hear from her again. And to me, I mean, you know, of course, politics is always a sensitive topic, but I do believe in, support who you want to support, but in our friendship, just act right. I have one of my close sisters that she, supports the person I don't support, and we're still friends. I'm not gonna, stop our friendship just because of that. It really depends on what it is. I don't take betrayal well. I don't have but five people in my whole life I call friends. Everybody else is associates, so it's not hard to cut off associates. Yeah, definitely not hard to cut off associates. And I've had my best friend that we've been best friends since we were 5 years old, since kindergarten. She's still my friend. So, if you want, if I you want my age range, we've been friends for 30 something years. 30 something years. Yeah. And look how young I look. So, hey, Moondog, if you're still here, hey, hey, hey. So, yeah. Politics, that the people that cut you off when they're in a relationship. Yep. And Brandon, don't be rude. Don't be rude, Brandon. Don't be rude. I can't stand those type of people who always want to be right. Like, it's okay to be wrong sometimes. I admit it. Exactly. Like, who the hell is right all the time? You gotta be, I don't like to say crazy, but you gotta be out of this world to think that you're always right. And then the worst thing is when you want to try to prove yourself all the time. You want to prove that you're right all the time. Like, that's when it gets bad, that nobody could have their own opinion because what you think is right. That's a big problem. And yes, my friends and I talk things out. We come to a mutual understanding that we both respect. Yes. And that's how it should be. You should be able to have communication with your friends. Like I said, you're not always going to think alike, and that's okay. And if you each want to, talk about how you feel, that's what you should do also. But not start attacking the person that's not thinking like you. That's not the way to go. You need to just listen to understand, not just hear the words. You have to listen to understand. And if you don't understand, that's okay too. But don't keep lashing out at somebody or thinking that the person is attacking you just because they have a different opinion from you. That's not okay. And of course, friendships are never going to last with people like that. People that always have to be right. People that always, want to argue when you don't think like them. I feel like there's no such thing as a friend because what always happens when friends stop talking, exactly what you said. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely friends. You just have to find the right friends, and learn how to walk away from people that are not your friends, that are not a real friend, you know? I've definitely had my friends that, still friends. Like I said, the one that from kindergarten, we've been through so much to like, I could have story time with me about me and her stories from when we were younger. Now that we're old, not so much. But when we were younger, boy, oh boy, I, I could definitely have story time. And then my other close friend, we've been friends since I was 14. So that's another 30 years. And then my other friend. So I have like three friends, three close friends, but we've been friends for a long time. And my other friend, we've been friends for 15 years. And I met her at work, and we're still friends. Like I was just with her this weekend on Saturday. Like, so it just depends, what kind of friend you're open to and what kind of friends you let stay. Because I've definitely had friends that I was friends with them for a long time. And unfortunately, I had to let go. And especially one thing you already know, guys, everybody knows, don't mix money with friendship. You know, do not mix money with friendship, especially with a broke bitch. Don't freaking mix money with friendship. All right, sorry. Many children learn how to deal with situations by watching their parents or adults on how to act or handle situations. Yes, that's why I always try to teach my children, especially their boys. Boys are freaking hard headed. And I mean, and they're also all different because my oldest, he's hard headed. He thinks he knows it all. I try to give him advice, you know, he thinks that the way he thinks is right. So with him, it's trial and error. But they're going to learn one day, right? I hope so, because he's about to be 25 and what? In July. So I hope he learns because to this day, he's still hard headed, you know? And then my 18-year-old here, I still try to teach him too. And I do, you know, I do lead by act, like show my actions, like how I would want them to be too. So I hope that they do pay attention to that. Another thing I hate is when you open up to a friend about something personal you are going through and they turn around and tell your business. Like, what the hell? Yeah. Like, yeah. I know a lot of people that do that. Well, used to know people that do that. That they'll say it like to their family or maybe to like another close friend of theirs. And like, excuse me, what I told you was between us. But you ever had a person say, "Oh, but you didn't tell me to tell anybody. You didn't tell me I can't tell anybody." Isn't that the worst? I've seen people do that too. Like you have a conversation with them, or even one of my friends have a conversation with somebody else, and they're like, I didn't tell you you could tell that to this person or that person, or I didn't tell you to say it publicly, and their reaction is, "Oh, but you didn't tell me I can't tell somebody. You didn't tell me that was just between me and you." Like, excuse me, it was personal. We was talking just you and I. Why wouldn't it be private between me and you? Why did you have to go tell them? Ridiculous. Yeah, like what the hell? Ugh, Brandon is bored. Brandon, how are you taking a shit? Scroll, look through. Find something to do, Brandon. Find something to do. Push harder. Live life first before deciding on settling down, especially when you're young. Word to the wise. Facts. That is facts. Very true one. For real. Hey, Belt Loop. See, I would like to make a joke about potty training here, but I won't. You go right ahead, Belt Loop. I think somebody needs it. Go right ahead. My opinion is agree to disagree. Mine too. That's me. I'm the friend. Laugh out loud. That's how protective my peace I am. Laugh out loud. Yeah, people be crazy, right? People be crazy. You cooking? What you cooking, moon dog? What you cooking? Laugh out loud. Me too, Mama Three. One of my best friends I've been friends with since kindergarten. Yeah, we've been friends through everything. We just seen everything. Shit, we used to do everything together. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I remember going to freaking. It's just like and we've had issues. We've had issues because even our friendship is not freaking perfect. Over 30 years of friendship, and trust me, we have been through our thing. But guess what? We were able to do not talk shit, you know. And if we talk shit to each other. We're able to communicate. you know we're able to disagree. We're able to agree to disagree and move on. We're able to pick up the phone when the other person is mad and apologize, even if we didn't do anything wrong. Just apologize for maybe the way we came out, maybe the way we reacted. You have to realize that you're not perfect either. Sometimes you do things, you know maybe it was your tone of voice, but in real friendships you should be able to talk. That's how friendships last. And if you don't have a long time friend, maybe that's why. I mean, maybe you didn't find no one. I mean, not everybody has to have a long time friend, but maybe that's why too, because you weren't able to communicate. You know, in my real personal life, I only have one friend, and I'm keeping it that way. Have to be careful of people you keep around you. They can bring you to your end. That is so true. That's definitely true. You know, if they're always like feeling a certain way, or if they're always, just having a negative energy, it's definitely going to drain you. It definitely can drain you. And then you're going to start feeling different, you know, trying to always, you know, make that person feel good. When you always like working, like putting work into the friendship, like trying to make that person feel good, making sure that that person knows that you care about them, making sure that that person knows that you hear them, what they're saying, that you understand, that you're not judging them, that you're here for them, that you're here for their family, that you understand what they're going through. When you just listening to them, what they're going through with their relationships, their jobs, all that does get draining. All that gets draining, and it can actually make you sick, you know and everything could be going right in your life, but because you're putting all that energy into that friendship, you could be the one that's down and out and sick, and just drained. Who the hell wants to be drained all the time? That would not be a true friend. Absolutely. We are all different values and different beliefs. That's what makes the world go round. Exactly. Like, who the hell want to be, the same, or be with somebody that thinks the same all the damn time? Like, of course, obviously you had to have some kind of connection and something in common to actually make you friends. But every single thing, like, I don't even like to have the same type in men with my friends, like, no. Most of the time in real friendships, you usually don't even have the same type, you have different types, that's just how it's been for me, at least. Like, me and my friends have never like liked the same type of guy, and that's okay. People don't like to hear these days. They listen to attack. Isn't that a fact? People love to listen to attack, to react. They just love it. There's some people that actually go looking for it. They want that negative energy. And to me, that's why sometimes it's best when the person feeds off that negative energy. Sometimes it's best to leave them in the dust, to not give them that energy that they so very much need, because you literally are. You see my cat, right? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. That's my little 1-year-old cat, my pain in the butt that always got to be by my side. Look at him. Look. Look at him. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? Isn't he so cute? Isn't he so cute? That's Stormy. Say hi, Stormy. But yeah, people love to react, right? They think that, they just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if you don't react? You know? And that's what happened recently too in one of our, friendships that unfortunately ended. We try to get her to not give people energy, and she just felt like she needed to give energy. Like, even when we try to, you know, um, throw in a white flag on both sides, just so, they don't have to keep on draining their own energy and keep going back and forth. We had a conversation, and our friend felt like she still needed to make a video on the other person, when, and then she thinks that that was okay to throw out those last videos just because of the way she was feeling. But why not be a bigger person, right? Why not be the bigger person? You know what? Why not say, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm not even going to give her what she wants. I'm not even going to give them what they want. I'm not going to even give them that energy back. And especially because my sisters are telling me how much it bothers them. You know? Why? I don't know. Sometimes to me, walking away and being in the bigger person instead of always reacting benefits you more, you know? My true friends, I can go months without talking to, but when I do talk to them, it's like no time pass at all. Isn't that true? Because I'm the same way. I'm that person. I talk to you guys more than I talk to my friends. I really do. I'm that person that I keep to myself a lot, you know? I really do. Like, I rarely talk to people on the phone or whatever. Um, that's how I've always been too. I've always been like that. I keep to myself. I rarely, that's just me. But when we do talk, it's like nothing. When we do hang out, it's like no time passed at all. It's like we, been hanging out every single day, like we talk every single day. That's what real friends are about, what true friends are about. Nobody feeling a certain way because you don't call them every day, or if you go out, with somebody else, that's what real friendships are. Like, we're not teenagers. Like, it's time to grow up. My friend, if you don't tell me when I'm wrong, I take that you don't care about me. Yeah, when you wrong is wrong, grown woman stuff. Just come respectfully. Exactly. And in all friendships or any kind of relationship, you should be able to tell a person when they're wrong. If you feel like somebody's actions are they're going way too far, or doing way too much, you should be able to talk to your person. You should be able to talk to your friends. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, maybe they can make you see something that you don't see in the way that you're reacting, you know? But definitely be respectful, because and if you're a real friend, I think it is gonna be with respect, right? It's never gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna be with disrespect, unless it's the way the other person might take it, and then that's when the whole conversation would change. I have two close friends. I don't mind calling others friend, but there is a definite distinction. Yes, definitely. Like everybody is not your friend. Some people are just your associates. Definitely. But look, that's me. We don't talk for a while, but when we do, it's all love. Yep, that's me. The last time I hung out with my best friend, it was in September. That's a while. And if I tell you how close we live to each other, you'd be like, what the hell? We live just blocks away from each other. Like I could walk to her house and I'll be in her house in like 10 minutes, 12 minutes walking. So imagine. And the last time I seen her was in September. But when we do hang out, it's up. Like Cardi says, it's up and it's stuck. When we hang out, after thank you, Bell Loop, thank you, for joining the conversation. It was a great conversation, and I love your opinion. Have a great night. Yes, and you have a good week too. Yep, that was never a friend. Yep, that's what we're noticing now. Unfortunately, that's what we're noticing now. you know that's not a true friend if they betray you. Exactly, SRC, if you're still here. I know I'm a little bit backed up on the freaking chat, right? I'm backed up on the chat. Hey sis. Unfortunately, I need to leave the chat early. Great time. Thanks, Karen, for being here. You're probably gone already because I'm slow in the chat, but thank you for being here. Hey sis, what's going on? You and I have a lot in common. That's crazy. Must be a New York thing. Yeah, right? Right? Free thinking. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And then you know exactly why this topic came about. You know what I'm saying? But all right. So I was talking a lot, but I didn't even get, into the nitty gritty of what I wanted to say. But let's, talk about, let's really break it down, because a disagreement is normal, isn't it? You're not supposed to agree with your friends on every single damn thing. Like, come on now. That's crazy. If two people agree on everything, that's not even real growth. That means nobody is challenging each other. Nobody is thinking differently. Nobody is bringing like different or new perspectives into the friendship. And what kind of friendship is that? Especially when you're grown. Like it's not no, childish baby stuff anymore. When you have a grown people friendship, you want to hear new things, you want to learn new things, you want to maybe even do things together. Maybe even you know, depending on what you guys like, maybe you want to do a certain business together. Just thinking differently and bringing new perspectives can open a lot of things, it could open a lot of opportunities also. But the problem is some people don't want different perspectives. They say they do and they say they're open to it, but honestly they just want people around them who agree with everything, validate everything, never question anything. And the moment you don't, what happens? The vibes change. They start distancing themselves, you know, they'll talk less, you know, and you can just tell they just act different now. And what you're supposed to say, you're supposed to just leave it alone, or are you supposed to pull the person aside and ask them, is something wrong? In a friendship, a real friendship, I think you should be able to ask, what's going on? Hey sis, what's going on? I noticed that you've been a little bit distanced lately. What's going on? you know but now, you know it gets deeper, because the person you've always got something to say, you think you know everything. This is what they say to you: you're trying to tell me what to do, or you don't see things my way, or you know just give me my space, because you can't help me. Then what are you supposed to do? you know you try to understand them, you try to give them their space. But what about if you give them everything they ask for, and then they turn around and say that you that they were abandoned? Then what? Then what are you supposed to do? You gave them exactly what they wanted. They wanted that space. They wanted the break. But then they say they were abandoned. How does that work? No, they just didn't get to, they didn't hear what they wanted to hear. So everything was taken the wrong way. Hey Ryan, what's going on? Hey JC, what's going on? Yeah, I'll be on for a few more minutes. I've been on 46 minutes. It's all good. It's all good. Hey Jarella, how you doing? Yes, hi again. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey Tinker Sis, it's all good. It's all good. This is just a chat, a chat with you guys. It's just a little chat with you guys. Nothing long. These days I be tired early. So when it hits 10, I'll be already wanting to go to sleep. But I try to stay up at least till 11 something. But I do be winding down at 10. I start watching a show or something, because as a working woman now, how's everybody doing? TC, hey sis. Yeah, they expect you to they expect you to put more chapstick on and kiss their ass. No thank you. I'm gonna put chapstick on just because my lips are dry, but I ain't kissing no ass, that's for sure. And none of the people I be around are gonna kiss any ass either. Yeah, we're not ass kissers, you know? When we genuinely care for somebody, we'll definitely, try to talk it out, and try to tell them, or, just talk to them about how we're feeling. But unfortunately, it doesn't always, is not always taken the right way, It's not always taken how we mean it. Some people just think that everybody is out to get them. And that's where a lot of friendships end, when people think that people are out to get them, when people think that, the words that come out of our mouth are not genuine. It's like there's some people that think that there's that people always have an agenda, and it's not always like that. Yes, some people do sometimes have an agenda. Yeah, I mean, and in my case, and in my sister's case, we did have an agenda for peace, to get along, open communication, you know, like I was saying, different perspectives, new, challenges. Just that's what our agenda was, growth. That was also on the agenda, and I'm sorry that certain things don't move as fast as some people want it. But when you are new, you have to learn each other, and that's okay. Yes, you have to learn each other, and give people time to get to where they need to be. So when you guys do what you have to do and want to do, that you all are able to be on the same page and contribute equally, you know? Um, I don't know how some people think that, you're supposed to just go boom, like face first into, especially something like a business venture. That doesn't work like that, you know? You do have to get to know your business partners, and even if they're friends, you do have to because friendship and business partners are actually two different things. So you have to get to know them at on both sides, you have to get to know them as friends, and then you have to get to know them as friends and business partners. Everything is not always going to be that easy, and just, especially 6 months. Like, come on now. Let's get it together. Hey, Tiff. Oh, wait, where are you? Yeah. Hey, Tiff. Yes, I love that you're a working woman now. I love it too. I love it too. You know, I'll be in the office. I was in the office almost all the today alone too. You know, but I don't know. We'll see. But yes, I like that I'm a working woman too. You better believe that. Yeah, I was in the other chat. Oh, you was like, "Where's everybody at?" I don't know why people don't like to go on the horizontal. I like to go on the horizontal because you get to read the messages better. You get to read the chat better. I actually like the horizontal one better than the vertical. But yeah. Yes, please hit that like button. Hey, beautiful queen. How are you, sis? Yes, the GG sisters are in the building. I know Tamika's asleep, so it's all good. I'm usually over on the horizontal by myself. Yeah. But for some reason, the horizontal has been getting more views on my videos, and which is good because I noticed that it actually gives me more watch hours on the horizontal than the vertical. So that's why I actually do both. So at least I could get a little bit of each. But yeah, because some people, they don't find you until they're scrolling, you know? So that's why I keep it on both. But yes, GG for life. And there goes our sis Miss Dee Dee, which I did tell her earlier in Tiff's chat that she doesn't have to worry about us treating her any different if she wants to continue, supporting the person that we no longer align with, because that's not who we are, you know. So I just want to make that clear for her, because I know the last time didn't go too well. So I didn't want her to think it was another, the same thing. So yeah. So so it's okay. We're not like that. You could Just hopefully it doesn't get too bad with the back and forth, and I hope it just stays respectful. Ugh, even though, I don't know. When it starts to get personal and personal information out in the public, I don't know. I just don't know. Because that's when it gets to a different level, when, back end or, private conversations start coming to the forefront, unneeded, when it's not needed. I know that's, makes people feel a different way. But, what's up with people not being able to take constructive criticism? That's where a lot of friendships start getting shaky. You can say something like, you don't think that's a good idea, but instead some people hear, I care about you, but you know they hear that, or they take it like we're judging them, instead of just actually listening to what we said. We just said that I don't think that's a good idea. We didn't say that we're going to judge you. We didn't say that you can't do it. We just telling you how we feel, you know? But I think the real issue is a lot of people just don't know how to separate the concern for their own control, that they always have to control everything. They want to be in control of the friendship. They want to be in control of their relationship. They want to be in control of what goes down at their job, you know? And that's what, when it comes to like honesty from the other end of the friendship, feels like it's judgment instead of just being what it really is, just a little bit of constructive criticism. Because in a real friendship, you should be able to talk about those things. you know Sometimes as a friend, you're trying not to control anything. You're just saying, I care about you enough to say something. Would you rather that, you know, your friend just doesn't say anything and lets you spiral out of control and lets you look stupid, you know, lets you dig yourself in a hole that you can't dig yourself out of? That's not what a real friend would do and feel comfortable letting you do, you know? But if someone is not open, there is nothing you can say, that won't offend them. And we've seen it from personal experience. You try, but everything, feels like you're attacking them, you're judging them, like you don't care about them. And lastly, like you're abandoning them. All right, JC. So, yes, and some people just don't want advice. They say they want honesty. They say, if you feel like you need to say something. But in all reality, they don't want to hear it. They want you to validate everything they say, how they act, you know, just everything, whether they're wrong or right. They just want you to go with their narrative. They want you to go with whatever energy they're on. And that's just not how it is, especially if you've dealt with a lot of negativity in your life, or even if you went through something lately and you're tired of that negativity and you just want to honestly just move on from negative shit and move on to positive stuff. Because you know what they say, that bad energy brings bad energy. So why would you want to bring bad energy to your friends? Wouldn't you want to bring that positive energy, especially when you guys are trying to move on from the negative and actually grow something beautiful, and hopefully meaningful, and that'll eventually, in the long run, help way more people than just us? Because that's another thing that is on the agenda, helping people that is not just us, because it's not all about us. It's everything is not only about us. We have plans. We have plans that hopefully will help a lot of people in the long run, and we have to start somewhere. And the negative energy, whether it's to each other or to our channels, is definitely not going to help, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who is, even in the future, you're gonna bump into. And what about they saw all the negative stuff you were doing on the internet? Or, they're not gonna want to open a business. They're not gonna want to, help you with your business or even contribute to your business if that's what it is, you know but they just want you to agree, even when they're wrong. And that's not what a friendship is about. So, so now sometimes you get in that position that all of a sudden you have to choose. Do I lie to keep the peace, or tell the truth and risk the friendship? And I always say, I guess I'm gonna freaking have to risk the friendship, because I'm not just gonna lie and enable that person. You know, I'm gonna tell the truth. I guess I'm just gonna be risking that friendship. And if it's the end of the friendship for telling the truth, I guess it wasn't really a friendship to begin with. You know. So have you guys ever felt like you had to stay quiet just to avoid drama? I'm sure a lot of you have, because I know, I've had to in the past, but, more recently I'm learning that staying quiet doesn't help. Not only doesn't it help the friendship, because eventually, you just start feeling like a weight is on your shoulders from everything that you're keeping in, but also you're enabling, like I said, that person to just spiral out of control, basically, you know? And have you ever lost friendship because you told the truth? Yep, because they thought we were attacking them, or because they thought I was attacking them.
When there's a fire, when you got hurt, and you see a thief, or no one sees you, you say help and call 911.
This kid be watching videos that tell him what to do in emergencies.
911. Ask 911.
Yes, they want you to co-sign to their BS.
Call the emergency.
You can call the emergency?
Yeah.
When?
The doctor, the policeman, and the fireman.
Okay. Good job. What's the number to the emergency?
911.
Good job. Facts, sis. I say that all the time. We don't, who is behind these screens exactly. We don't know, and we got to watch it, especially if we have plans to do better, to build, something positive. We don't want to be aligned with things that will mess up, you know, things that we have planned for the future, the near future, you know. Eventually, everybody's going to be on their feet, and we're going to start doing what we said we're going to do, you know. Got to give it time. Things just don't, grow overnight. Like, you got to give it time, especially when it's going to be meaningful and we want it to actually last. You can't just rush into things, But people need to realize that when friends want to talk to you or have something to say, it's not about lashing out or not caring or, trying to belittle you. It's just because saying you have to worry about people that stay quiet, you know? That's when you have to worry. But if people are actually bringing how they feel to you, you should freaking be happy that we respect you enough to, instead of talking shit behind your back, that we bring it to the forefront and tell you, you know, basically to your face, you know? That you have to worry about when people are silent, not when they actually bring their feelings to the surface. Come on now. Jax went that way already. But you hear him? He be talk about he be watching videos. Yeah, that's what he be finding things on YouTube that teach him about emergencies and who to call and what to do. You heard him? That if nobody's around, that you have to scream help so somebody could help you. The things he says sometimes surprise me. But yeah, so people like this will always drain you. You have to watch friendships, because slowly and surely they will start draining you, you know, and nobody wants that in any kind of relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a, intimate relationship. Nobody wants any kind of relationship that's going to drain you, that's going to always feel like you're putting too much energy into it, or that you even putting too more energy into them than they're putting into you, or more energy into them that you're putting into your own family. That just doesn't work. And the minute you have to see those red flags from the beginning, because honestly, some of us see red flags and we think that it's going to be different because it's us this time. We might have saw the red flags in different friendship because it wasn't us, real close. But now it's us, so we think that things are gonna change. We think that we're gonna be able to, sometimes we're able to calm that friend down, or maybe open that person's mind to seeing a different perspective. But honestly, it's okay to be strong minded, but you have to be open to other people's opinions also. Because, like I always say, you have to learn new things, and you're not always right either. And you thinking that you're always right is never gonna, you know, be good in any kind of relationship, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. How that's gonna work? People say that's what they want, but they really don't want the truth. Exactly. They want you to tippy toe behind their back. They don't want you to bring, what you feel to the surface. They want you to tippy toe. They rather you tippy toe behind their back so they can continue being them. So they don't have to, worry about being different. And not all change is bad. I think sometimes you need to change to better yourself, you know? So a part of friendship is growing too, you know? You want to help each other grow. That's what I think. And yeah, they do drain the shit out of you. You said tippy toe. I was not trying to say what we said earlier, freaking walking on eggshells, but yeah, they want us to tippy toe behind their back. I was gonna say the eggshell thing, but I said tippy toe. Okay, but no matter what you say, they're right. No matter what facts you bring, they're right. I think we've all had that kind of friend that thinks everything they say is right. That strong-minded friend that just doesn't see or hear anybody else's opinions as being Okay too. Like, okay, you think the way you think, and that's okay. But I think the way I think, and that's also okay. Why can't we come together and compromise, you know, or just disagree to disagree? Why does it have to be that we have to go head to head on everything, you know? Or why, because I said something, automatically you have to lash out because now you think that, I just don't respect you and I'm trying to go at you, and that's not how it is. But no matter how calm you are, they always right. Remember that? Some people just want to be right. And that never works in any kind of relationship, friendship, friendship, relationship. So people have to wake up. You have to really look at yourself, stand back, look at yourself, realize how many, relationships have ended, especially if it was in a short time span. Because sometimes, like I said, not everybody's perfect. I know I'm definitely not perfect. I know that I have things that I can change and grow, different. And I've definitely been growing, and I'm going to grow some more, and I'm going to continue to grow. And I'm open to that. And if my friends have, you know, something to advise me on, I'm going to take that as love and care. Because guess what? If they didn't love or care, they wouldn't even tell you anything. They would just let you be, you know? Another crazy thing is that people that say they need time or whatever, you give them the time, then all of a sudden they feel abandoned. You check on them, you ask them what's wrong, you try to be there, they say they're fine, or they say they don't want to talk, or even that you can't help them. So what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to respect that. You respect what they say, you give them the space, you know, you don't push because you're trying to be a good friend. But then boom, now it was, or now it is, you wasn't there for me, you didn't check on me, you left me. you know was that really how it went? Or did you push me away? Did you push me away? Did you think I was supposed to give you space but didn't? Did you think that I wasn't respecting your boundaries? So how did I leave you when you're the one that shut me out or shut us out? And that's where, frustration comes in, because now you're being blamed for respecting the other person's wishes. That's just crazy. Especially when you're adult. You would really think that things like that happen, when you're teenagers, when you don't really understand, friendship and boundaries and communication. But when it comes to adults, who knew that some people still go through this kind of thing, you know? Pity parties. They want pity parties. Tinkers, they want pity parties and wear pissy panties for all. Right. If we can't help, why say we didn't try to help you? Yes. That's crazy. It's self sabotage, and that seems to be a consistent theme with some people. Yes. You know, and that's crazy. People need to learn how to, you know, stop avoiding taking accountability and then start nitpicking at everything. And because you feel backed up in a corner, then all of a sudden you want to start lashing out in your own way. Like, can you have lashed out more aggressive? Definitely. But lashing out and, just opening up to you know basically telling other people personal conversations or personal, just personal things about your friends that you are no longer aligned with is messed up to me. You can be mad at me all you want. You can feel that you're not loved all you want, but why take it so far as to just tell personal business when you never even know? Especially, you didn't even give it time. You chose to walk away. you know you chose to bring it to the forefront. You chose not to give it time. So why, you know keep doing what you do and not take real accountability? And then you just try to basically find all the negative in the other person. You want to rewrite the situations. You want to rewrite what actually happened. What a shame, what a shame. But, real accountability, it requires self-reflections, humility, honesty, and not everybody is ready for that. Not everybody is ready for that. So airing up somebody's business that, spoke to you privately about something, and that's messed up. The very things that you were afraid of your friends doing, you went and did. It's like you knew that that's what you would do, and that's why you wanted to do it first. You asked your friend not to bring it to the forefront, but then you go and do it. That's just because you wanted to do it first. You wanted, of course, to control things all over again. And that's really messed up. you know why everything suddenly has to become public? Things that nobody, outside of the friendship should know, regardless how you feel. Why couldn't you just walk away and everything be, what? We used to be friends, or, things didn't happen the way I would like to, but I'm going to keep those private conversations that we had to myself, because, that's how it should be. When they told me, at the time that they told me, they trusted me with their whole heart. So, you know what? Let me not be that person to bring the personal shit to people that really don't care. And that's what they want. Yes, they want to rewrite history. They wanted to rewrite the history. So it's, to me, it's really sad that, you know, you when your friends, you try to, be able to trust somebody, you start talking to them because you really did trust them, you know and then the person that said they didn't trust people easily is the one that goes and screws you over because you chose to trust them. Isn't that something? And that's exactly why they didn't trust nobody, because they knew, or they know how they really are. They know they're that type of friend that the minute that something goes wrong, the minute that you don't agree with them, that they're gonna go and spill all the beans. But in certain situations, we definitely should have known better, because we've seen it happen before. We just thought that it wasn't gonna happen to us. We thought at the time that we were different, you know and obviously nobody is different to that person. They think that bringing that shit, that it holds some kind of weight. you know, like they're just trying to help you, and that's not cool at all. Somebody that you actually love, that open up to, tries to hurt you like that, when, or even though you may have reacted to, you know, their message or whatever, but you actually reacted still with love, still trying to not hurt their feelings, but yet they left all that shit behind. All the respect is gone, and to think they didn't give it time. Who knows if that friendship could have rekindled? Who just, who that wants a real friendship with people just lets it all go in a week or less than a week? Like, if you want that friendship, if you actually cared about that friendship, if you honored that friendship, who lets a friendship go in just a week when it was supposed to be different? I don't know, you know, but sorry, not the ones to coddle. Sorry, we were done, we were never gonna enable you to dig yourself in a hole. Sorry, we wanted to see you do better. And you were actually, at one point, you had started doing better, but then you just went backwards, you know? That the whole point of us, being together is trying to grow, you know, especially when we have seen some, you know, tragic times and some real emotions in the friendships, you know, that's just not okay. The safety is gone, the respect is gone, because when we were cool, there was trust. We were trying. We were trying to, even if you like, especially like me, I usually keep a wall up because I don't get close to people like that so fast. But I figure it was time to like break down that wall and let people in, because I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life, whether it's, in a relationship or friendship. Who wants to be just alone all the time, nobody to talk to, things like that? So even if you have trauma in the past that people did you wrong, how are you going to live like that? You're going to be miserable for the rest of your life if you never really let somebody in. And I feel bad for you, you know? And I'm not going to pray for you because I know you don't take all prayers, but I just wish you the best. I really do. I would say I would pray for you, but you don't think anything is genuine. You don't see the real genuine, you know, you don't see the, I don't know, is genuineness is a word, whatever, but you don't see the genuineness in people that were really trying for you. And that's sad. And you're going to listen to other people that weren't there day in and day out, listening to your conversations, listening to your feelings, listening to what you were going through, and, just wanting to be a part of that, and wanting to be a part of the uplifting part, that wanted to get you out of that feeling, that wanted to get you out of that situation. You really think that people wasted their time and energy because they didn't care? Come on now. Like I said, at a certain point, you have to realize that you're not always right, and you have to open your damn eyes. you know? And sometimes I think they really are in another world. I think they're in the wrong world, though. You walk too heavy for eggshells. Yeah, we try to be different and we try to show them different. Some people are comfortable in misery. Ain't that facts, you know? Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're all gonna grow, you know? We're gonna continue to grow together because that's what, friends do. And I'm not walking on no damn eggshells either, you know? And as long as we first comes respect, as long as you respect, no matter what the conversation is, you're going to be able to have it, as long as that respect is always there. So when we're not children, I think teenagers are the ones that always feel like they're being attacked. Adults shouldn't feel like that, you know? You and if you feel like you're always being attacked, no relationship is gonna survive. If you're not able to communicate in any kind of relationship, it is not going to survive, you know? When you're in your feelings, all of a sudden you want to expose everything. Nobody's gonna deal with that, always gonna deal with that shit. People are gonna get tired of it, and people have got tired of it, you know? And before anything happened, friends really did try, you know? But, that's the person, those are the people that are always the ones that nobody is here for me. Everybody does me wrong. Woe is me. But look at how you move. You can't cry about loyalty and move disloyal. All right? Remember that. You can't cry about loyalty and move disloyal. You were able to switch up just like that. You must have been feeling a certain way for a minute, because it definitely shouldn't have been that easy. And even you have said it before, when people move a certain way, they felt they were feeling like that for a while. So obviously you were feeling something for a while. And that's sad because, like I said, there were certain people that you were very close with, that you were able to turn on in just a phone call. With just a phone call, you were able to just switch up just like that. That's crazy to me. That's definitely crazy to me. Right? And yes, we works in progress. No one's perfect. No one's perfect, but we're going to help each other grow. We're going to water each other. We're going to water each other so we can all grow. I know, Alan. I know, Alan. Of course, Alan was going to say that. We have to pray for those type of people regardless. I know. I know. I'm just disappointed, I'm just disappointed, especially when it comes, it's just the actions and, the telling people's private business when, that's not how it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be, like you could disagree, you could be mad, you could not want to be aligned anymore, but to get personal and to bring personal business out, to me, that's, a different level of different disrespect. I'll wear a size 10 shorty. Yeah. Yep, 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 yep. So yeah, they have to realize they are the villain in their own story. Yes. A man that have friends must shew himself friendly. Proverbs means that to have, maintain, and enjoy true friendship, one must take the initiative to act in a friendly, kind, and open manner. Woo! Say that, sis. That's what the book, good book says. Mm-mm-mm. Some people, they just let their, you know, the way they feel mess themselves up, you know. She did exactly what that other lady did. Yep. Agreed. There was no need to start airing out other things that had nothing to do with the situation at hand. Yeah. And especially when you bring other people's, children. I don't care what age the child is, should not bring anybody's child into the equation, especially when you have some bones, You have some bones in those closets. You shouldn't want anybody to talk about, you know? Look at this damn cat. Hey, sister teacher. Love you. Nice seeing you. Yeah, but I gotta get ready for bed, guys. I gotta get ready for bed. But yeah, I like to talk, but not like who I'm talking about. But you know, enough people have spoke today, so. But if you know, you know. But this can resonate with everybody that has had friendships like that. You have to just sometimes you have to be able to walk away. You have to learn how to walk away because you don't want that friendship that drains you. You know, who wants a friendship that drains you? And no real friendship should drain you. Of course, there's going to be times when you're down or the other person's down, but that's the time when you lift each other up, when you're there for each other, you know. And I understand sometimes you get into depression. You might want to stay to yourself, but if that's what you choose to do, that's okay. But it's how you come back and react and run a false narrative that no one was there for you when everybody was there for you and trying to figure out what the hell was damn wrong with you. That's where the issue becomes, because it's okay to be to yourself, take a break, take some time to yourself. But if you're gonna go around and say nobody's there for you, you're alone, nobody really cares for you, nobody loves you, when that's all that your friends were about, was loving and caring and and trying to see you do better, wanting to genuinely see you do better, that's not okay. But you live and you learn. So hopefully, like we learned from this well, like we learned from this, hopefully you learn from this for the future, to just do better. We're gonna do better. Hopefully you'll do better, you know and hopefully, and I really do wish you the best. I hope every venture that you want and go for works out for you. I hope that you either, you know, I just hope everything for you, does good. I hope that you're a bit of, you know, I wish you many years of love and happiness in everything. I'll just say that. And whether it's that you move on or, grow what you have. But We definitely have to look within and realize that not everybody's after us, and you can definitely lose a good thing for not wanting to see outside your box. Sometimes you have to look outside your box because there's beautiful things outside the box. I didn't do anything to nobody, but if all the bystanders from break room are catching strays, I'll keep my distance. I hear that. Yeah, I heard people were catching. I hear people were catching it. But yeah, I mean, I would too because, if you're aligned with somebody that that person doesn't like, they're gonna aim for you. They're gonna aim at you too. But I do love them and I wish them the best. Always. I wish everybody the best. I don't want to, you know, am I perfect? No. Am I in drama sometimes? Yes. Do I try my best not to be? Yes. But am I going to speak how I feel? Also, yes. You know? And I did try to, you know, support, to the very end. But when the people that I love and care about, start getting spoken about and things like that, you do have to make a decision, you have to make a choice. And I definitely had to make my choice. And like always, I don't regret it. So we're going to move forward. We're going to grow. We're going to do good things, big things. And, I hope everybody just, does well and everything and does everything they want to and that it has much success. So, yes. All right, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that watching the replay. If you got this far, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as you guys can see on my screen and scrolling is my Cash App. So if you would like to donate to my channel, anything is appreciated. I love you, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all. Love ya.